All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fridays at 4 on twitch.tv/DDO stream. I'm your community manager, Cordovan. And I don't know what to tell you, people. I think this might be the most boring stream of all time in the history of Fridays at 4 because I'm going to be talking about transfers. That's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be answering transfer stuff. We'll go through the guide. We'll just sort of hang out on this Friday. And I'm going to do what you may well be doing yourself this weekend, which is organizing and getting ready to transfer come Tuesday. You could say that I'm being paid to prepare my characters for transfer. You could also say that I'm using the flimsy excuse of, well, if I just show them what I'm doing, there's surely some educational benefit to that. Nonetheless, I'll kind of show you basically what I got going on. And we can talk a little bit about how it differs from how you're doing it. Maybe see if you got some tips to offer me, if I can offer you any tips, and we'll just sort of see how things are going. So that is what we're going to be doing. But yes, there are a lot of questions. The other thing is I figured, well, if I'm going to be getting tons of transfer questions, then my ability to actually try to concentrate on gaming is going to be somewhat limited as well. So why don't I instead also focus on transfers while talking transfers? So that's what we got going on the show today. And if you are still with me, welcome. I guess probably the first thing I would mention is that we do have our transfers starting. This will be on Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. And is your man Cordovan more than a little nervous? Am I nervous on this Friday? I'm not nervous. It's going to go great. I believe it'll go very well. But wow, next week's going to be a big week for us, is it not? And wish us luck. We'll be wishing ourselves luck, and we'll be putting everything we can to make sure this goes as well as possible come Tuesday. But yep, Shadowdale and Thrain are opening on Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern. These are two new US-based 64-bit worlds. They're going to join our third 64-bit world, Cormyr, that already exists, as a fresh start world, but will soon be taking transfers from everyone, as our three US worlds. And then Moonsea will be our EU-based world, and we're going to offer in the future transfers from Cormyr to Moonsea. I know there's a question of, are we offering transfers from Shadowdale and Thrain to Moonsea? And the answer is we want to. We have some additional work due to sort of the separation of it being US and EU that we have yet to do before we can fully commit to a yes on that. But that's certainly our intention, is to offer a full slate of rotating 64-bit server transfers. The important thing to know, though, is you have through August 31st to do this. After August 31st, all of our 32-bit game worlds will be closing, and they will be opening as ghost worlds. Now, what that means is you'll be able to access the bank, you'll be able to get your character ready to transfer, and then you'll be able to transfer for free to our 64-bit worlds for something like at least a couple of years afterwards. But functionally, come August 31st, our 32-bit game worlds are going to be closing for any sort of regular gameplay, and we will officially be in our 64-bit future here in Dungeons & Dragons Online. So for a lot of us, this weekend is about getting our gear ready, figuring out where we're going with ourselves or with our guild, maybe doing something that I'm going to talk a little bit about here, see if you agree with my process or absolutely hate it. This is fully self-developed, so there you go. And what have you, and also getting ready for your guild. Now, we've spent, for the past couple of weeks now, we've had information on the website, ddo.com, with a full list of information about how to transfer and what's going to be happening. And then just, about a week or so ago, we updated our transfer guide to provide all of the information that you're seeing right here. So transfers are going to begin at 2 p.m. Eastern, and we're right now in the prepare phase. That's what we're doing. I'm not going to repeat this whole guide because I spent, a half hour or so last week going through it. But you'll use the pack function of /transfer pack. You'll just do that from in-game chat when you are ready to transfer. Do not do this until you are ready to transfer, because you cannot do anything else other than transfer once you do this. But You will type /transfer pack in the in-game chat to pack all your character and account stuff. You'll use the regular transfer wizard through the game launcher to transfer to your destination world. And then when you get to your destination world, you'll use /transfer unpack. And that'll allow you to unpack all your stuff on the destination world. Guilds and everything should be pretty good. You can read everything that's going to be here. That's in the guide here. We talk about what will and won't transfer. The main thing to know about won't transfer is guild chest contents. That's probably the number one. Number two being any kind of monster manual progress. We have announced plans in this guide here to refactor the monster manual. And what that means is essentially the monster manual is staying behind in our 32-bit worlds and will be redeveloped for our 64-bit worlds. In the meantime, we're leaving the monster manual open on the 64-bit worlds, and people, because they were the system was already broken, the outcome of it being broken is you will be able to re-earn your monster manual stuff again. So, and we'll get to that a little later in the guide. But still, monster manual progress is one of the other big pillars of things that will not transfer with you. In-game mail won't transfer with you. Make sure you've got all your mail out. If you're using mail as storage, don't. But make sure it's gone by the time you hit transfer back, because it'll be lost for good after that point. Auction house listings, the other big one. And then things like your guild rank. If you're a successor, that's going to have to be reset by the guild leader on your destination world. But that's what's going to be happening starting Tuesday. I think for a lot of people, really Tuesday is going to be about name reservations come 2 p.m. So in that case, what you'll probably end up doing is logging into your game world of choice and then creating a quick character with the name that you want to reserve. You can functionally do this by transferring over a character as well, but it is likely that come Tuesday at 2 p.m., our transfer service is going to be under its heaviest load that it has perhaps ever been under. And as a result, my suggestion on name reservation is create a dummy character rather than try to do it through transfer. But in theory, you could do either that you want to. And you can see on the website, we go into all sorts of detail about everything else. Like I said, I'm not going to repeat all this with me, but we have had some things that have been added to the guide this week. In particular, where do I even have all this stuff? Yeah, favor. So you'll be able to earn first time per server DDO points through favor on the new 64-bit worlds. And if you don't already have it on Cormyr, it'll be just like it is right now. You can re-earn it. But there's a specific issue related to access of favor granted rewards following transfer, specifically as it relates to what are called billing tokens. Now, that's not a term we use very much, but it makes sense if you think about what a billing token is. Well, you can either buy Inquisitive, or you can have Inquisitive granted to you. And if you make a purchase, then a designator behind the scenes says you have it. And if you acquire it through favor or something, then behind the scenes, it'll give you a token, a billing token, that'll say, like, yes, you have this, you don't need to buy it. That is not, there's a bug with favor where it won't transfer over. I mean, in theory, it does. It's not so much that it doesn't transfer as the system on the other end has no way to recognize it and thus give you a new one. But from practical terms, what it means is it doesn't transfer. So what that means is if you only have access to Favored Soul by, say, getting 2,500 total favor, you won't be able to log into that Favored Soul come Tuesday until we fix this issue, or until you re-earn that 2,500 favor on a different character, because you won't be able to log into the Favored Soul, because it'll be like, wait a second, you don't have 2,500 favor. Even though you have it behind the scenes, it's all cleared out in the new world, right? So we have a solution in place. And we talked about that, I guess it was maybe even, it wasn't this week, but we will be offering a solution to this issue in the near future. And we encourage players to consider that a free solution will be available soon if you are thinking about purchasing access through the DDO store. Now, why are we using that word? I had thought perhaps by this point, come Friday, people were going to have figured this little part out. But if you think about a solution being offering you content for free in the form of Warforged Artificer, Favored Soul, Feydark Illusionist, Inquisitive Vistani Knife Fighter, Harper Agent, Falconry, and Horizon Walker, we have sometimes had mechanism by which we have done that sort of thing. We would not, it would be unwise to do that sort of thing, say, come Tuesday at 2 p.m. for reasons involving lots of people transferring and a lot of stress on the game world. And if we were to do something like that, and we recognize that people tend to pay attention to that sort of thing and thus respond, we might want to wait until, say, not too long after the transfers have gone through their initial rush, just to make sure everything is working out, and then make an announcement about this free solution. If I can't be any more obvious than that. So... I did want to call out as well, related to UI layout. This is something that came up really from the forums due to a player comment, educating people about the existence, for those who don't know, of a /UI space layout load and save command. And a lot of us DDO veterans know about this command, but there's a whole bunch of people who apparently did not really know that much about it based on the, say, forum and Discord chatter. So we were like, well, let's add this to the guide to make sure people are reminded or learn that we have a command called /UI space layout space, either load or save. And if you want to give it a special name after that, you do space and then whatever you want the name to be. And then it's going to put that UI layout in, really by default, your My Documents user interface folder, where you can call it up again in the future. And I'll show you actually real quick here in just a minute how that works. But so if you've got a general UI layout that you'd like, just do /UI space layout space save. And then when you go to your destination world, it'll make, say, dealing with bank alts and everything a whole lot faster. You can just get that done. So... for next Tuesday, we're going to have a coupon code for Creature Companions. This is for an issue where if you rename a Creature Companion, say you want to name your dog Spot, and then you transfer Spot over to a destination world, the game will know that you renamed it Spot and call that pet Spot. But then it also doesn't understand any subsequent pet renames of that dog type that may overwrite it. So it's always going to be Spot, even if you bring in Rover later. So what we're doing is we're creating a coupon code that'll be called My Pet Is Called, and that'll start basically once transfers start. And it'll give you 10 free renames. If you're in a position where you're hearing my voice and you're like, well, I mean, 10 is great and all, but that's like 1/100th of my total pet names. We'll have a solution for you too. It'll probably be more of a just get in touch with us through CS, and we'll have a solution that'll be in place. But 10 will cover most folks, and that'll be just free and available to everyone. And if you've got 300 pets you need to rename, just let us know. We'll help you out. We'll figure something out for you. We also have these coupon codes for airship stuff that's going to kick off on Tuesday. One of the things that doesn't transfer is your guild cosmetics, your airship, like hull, sail, that kind of thing. So we're giving you another free one, and so you can just rebuy it on your destination world. And I think, other than... I have a little bit more... Actually, you know what? I have an image to update here. We have a different pack image than the one that is in this guide. I never updated that. I get to do that before I end the day today. But you'll see that in CareGen, there'll be a little packed box when your character is packed. That actually looks a little different. It looks slightly nicer than it did look in the past. So. All right. Let me real quick get to chat, and then I will head in game, and we'll just sort of do the thing. In terms of news for the weekend, really all I would call out is that we do have a +10 treasure hunter boost. This is going through July 13th. I also know we do have in-game events happening. A lot of guilds and stuff are kind of having their big parties this weekend. So check out the forums or the Discord if you want to learn more about what might be going on there. And otherwise, I wanted to do one other thing that I could do here quick. Yeah, I would also point out that on Tuesday, we are going to be bringing the game worlds down for a small game update. This will be update 74.1. It's mostly going to have to do with last-minute transfer adjustments to the code. But there might be a few other release notes in there too, and we will have those release notes for you come probably Monday late afternoon. So, all right, I am going through Twitch chat. What did I just do with you? There you are. What happens to your characters after the, quote, couple of years? So ultimately, the future of our 32-bit game worlds is we're going to be having a Ghost World period to facilitate final transfers from these game worlds. And then after that final transfer period, these 32-bit game worlds will be permanently closed and no further access to any character or account data will be possible. It will be gone for good. So, ideally get it done before August 31st, but if you can't, you will have a couple of years to get it done. And after that point, though, it's gone. Why isn't Cormyr listed here? By here, I assume you mean the announcement about the new worlds in the guide. And the answer to that question is because Cormyr is not a new world. It is, however, in the very first sentence afterwards, these worlds will join our existing 64-bit US server Cormyr as our regular game worlds. But since Cormyr is not a brand new server with a new name, it did not make sense to put in a list of here are the new servers and their names. In the future, you mean we finally get flying cars? Well, I mean, any car right now could be flying for a little while. August 31st is about 6 weeks out. Will it matter when in that window we transfer? Like, will there be planned changes or improvements to the transfer process or possible big fixes? As it stands today, we are hopeful and expect that our transfer service will operate flawlessly. Everyone will be transferred over and everything is going to go great next week. We are starting the DDO transfers, having done this on the Lord of the Rings Online side earlier this year. And I will say there were aspects of what I just stated that did not take place during that transfer period. So it is possible that further adjustment and work will probably be likely as we go through this process. But in terms of when you transfer, it shouldn't matter. We're going to be supporting your transfer no matter when you transfer. Is it, as a general rule of video game guidance, better to transfer at 2:05 p.m. Eastern when every single player who wants a name reservation wants to transfer versus, say, doing it August 3rd? I bet it's going to be a lot faster on August 3rd. But it should work either way, whatever you want to do. And for some people, particularly those who are in a state where they may be impacted by that favor issue, probably worth waiting until you hear from us about the solution. And that won't take very long, I don't think. So, in your case, it's probably worth not trying to transfer. But we know a lot of you are very excited to play on these new worlds, and you want to get your guild in place. You've been working for this for weeks, and you want it done, and you want to be in your new place happy and healthy and everything else. And we want that for you, too. One thing to note, however, and this was also added to the guide this week, really just kind of based on further testing, where we're just like, you know, I know this kind of makes sense, but we need to let people know this, which is that all of this packing and unpacking does in fact have a significant impact on lag, and not in a good way. So I guess I would just mention that, I'm like, where do I even have my formal wording on it? Where is that? Yes, please note that using the transfer unpack command does have an impact on game performance. So during periods where large numbers of people are unpacking at the same time, you can expect impact to the game world, particularly when zoning between spaces or interacting with banks, crafting stations, or NPCs. So come Tuesday afternoon, or is it likely you're going to be able to log in and reserve your names, from CareGen and get started on things? Yes. Is it a good time to try to do a raid? Probably not. Because all that packing and unpacking is going to be not entirely dissimilar to what you maybe are used to in the test dojo on Lamania, when large numbers of things are flying around in and out of people's inventories. So it'll be like that, is really what it's going to be for a couple of days until all this stuff settles down. So worth considering. Well, I don't think it's been extremely rushed, Hephaestus. I appreciate what you're saying. This has been a project for, gosh, 3 years in the works or so since we first started talking 64-bit game worlds. And it is true that we have this August 31st deadline. And as Severlin has discussed related to the opening of Ghost Worlds, that the Ghost World server was really a reaction to a requirement on our part to be able to figure out how to make this all work and get it done. So to some extent, we have been working very hard these past, say, 6-8 months on this specifically to get it ready for July 15th. So not rushed, but at the same time, it's not arbitrary either. We do have some sort of deadlines and timelines that we need to meet as well. And are we going to make a quote tutorial video? I don't want to read all that. Yes. However, one aspect that I have learned over the years of trying to make this kind of quick YouTube short or something like that, because it'll get done in a minute, is I kind of need it to be live before I can actually film the footage of me doing it, so that it doesn't have all sorts of weird text and development nonsense associated with it. So I can't really work on the video until like sometime after Tuesday 2 p.m. and I'm probably going to be pretty busy at 2 o'clock, so it'll be probably something like Tuesday night if I get around to it, if things are chill. But yes, we will have a basic video. However, let me give you the short version. If you're like, I ain't too long, did not read, do whatever you need to do to get ready to transfer. Then type /transfer pack. Log out, go to the game launcher, transfer. Log into your new world and type /transfer unpack. Done. At the core of it, that's all there is to this whole transfer thing. So no. So Platform Pull has a question. We are not able to offer VIP priority entry for this particular effort at 2 p.m. And it really has to do with the transfer functionality in place. Will you be able to get the airship codes even if you do not currently have any ship cosmetics? Yes. They are free codes for everybody. All right. Next Lamania will not be next week. We're going to be a little busy. We're going to be a little busy next week with our transfers and update 74.1 and everything else. Tentatively, though, the week after that could be our next, probably will be our next Lamordia preview on Lamania. Stay tuned, though. If something happens next week, that could end up being shifted out. But as it sits today, not next week, but the week after, we'll be back to our rotation on Lamania. There's a strange line about transferring from Cormyr to Moonsea for free, but the strange part is not mentioning Shadowdale or Thrain. That is not strange, in the extent that the reason that question exists is because European players are currently playing on a US game world. They cannot currently play on Shadowdale or Thrain. So the question that seeks to address is, I could transfer from a 32-bit world to Cormyr, but how do I get from Cormyr to Moonsea? And the answer to that question is, in the future, we will be facilitating transfers between Cormyr and Moonsea. And so that's all that question was. We have also stated our intention to offer 64-bit server transfers between all the 64-bit game worlds, with details to be provided later. Since additional work will be necessary in order to facilitate that, we can't promise much of anything at the moment, but there's no reason it shouldn't work. So we'll do that work, and then we'll have that information when it's ready. The lag over the weekend is going to make the game unplayable. Well, no, but you're not entirely wrong either. All this transfer stuff is, in fact, going to be having a little bit of an impact here over the next week or so. So, will it be apparent to players when your pack-unpack functions are started, running, and/or complete? Yes. Depending on how much stuff you have and how much is being packed and how complex all that data is, depends on how long it takes. But typically, once you run the command, it'll take something between a fraction of a second and however long it ends up taking. So far in testing, no more than a couple seconds. Hard to know if that'll change when we've got everyone doing it, but in general, that should be the case. And then when it's done, it'll put a output, just like in the guide states right now. It'll output a command that it's complete. You can see what that looks like on DDO.com right now. Is Lamania 64-bit? No, but it will be at some point. We need to do the work to make it 64-bit. But it's not, in fact, actually a gated experience. It'll be better when we can make Lamania 64-bit, but it works just fine as a 32-bit preview world if we need it to. Even with all of our other worlds 64-bit, it doesn't matter in terms of that. It'll certainly be a better experience on Lamania, though, once we are able to update it to 64-bit. No, Ice is a Rock. Once you've packed, the next thing is transfer unpack, and if you try to pack again, it just won't work. If there is a queue at 2 p.m. this Tuesday, I promise you, there will be a queue. Will the VIP be at the front of the line? I can't promise much of anything about that when we're talking about a huge segment of the player base hitting our transfer service within a fraction of a second and trying to sort, well, is it absolutely ensuring that X is before Y? But in general, the way it works now will be the functionality. So. When can we start packing? When the game worlds come up from their downtime on Tuesday. If it's slightly before 2 p.m. when transfers begin, then you can pack then. Otherwise, it'll be something like 2 p.m. on Tuesday. I had said nothing of the sort, Luna Rose Dragon. I have no idea why you would think that. Okay. Oh gosh, I already killed a half hour here, didn't I? So. Uh-oh. Where am I? Here I am. Up here! Yay. Okay, so this is on an unnamed server called Argonesson. There sits a bank character called CMOC. What do I even call it now? I can't even read my own writing. CMOC Arg Core. And this is Kenneth Crafting, my account, from Argonesson to Cormyr. And that's what I'm doing. On this particular character, one of the things that I'm working on, if you think about the way I've kind of been playing on stream for years now, is I've got mains scattered across all the different game worlds in various states of some are Kenneth Crafters, some are not Kenneth Crafters, some have decent loot, some have garbage loot. Some of them are more developed than others, some of them have multiple past lives, some of them only have a couple maybe. You know, whatever. There are all sorts of various states, largely created and played over the years on the live stream here. And then I've got my personal characters, which tend to be just a couple that are more fully developed. And what I want to do is try to see if I can receive some benefit of playing all of these characters and all of these worlds as we're consolidating here in the next week. So my first thought is, let's have a Kenneth Crafter on all the game worlds. And then my other thought is, let's give myself, to the extent possible, a little bit of named item head start on these new worlds as a secondary for new characters and that. And then the other bit is, you've really just been using your storage as just a junk drawer to throw things in for years. Let's sort through some of this stuff, and you have a whole bunch of named items you're never actually going to use. Maybe you should crunch that down for Sentient XP. So that's probably going to happen before Tuesday. But essentially, step one, which was completed on all the worlds except for Wayfinder by last night, is I went through every character that I had created on every game world. And if they were just some level 1 placeholder that I created because I wanted to test this thing that I heard about on the forums before I sent it down to QA, then that character just got nuked. And pretty much any First Life character just pretty much got nuked. And, but before I nuked them, what I did is I would take their plat, put it into the Platinum Vault, take any kind of random gen items, put it into the shared bank, any bound to account named items or whatever would go in there, any nice potions or Sybaris cakes that are bound to account, whatever, would go in there. And now I'm going through the servers, so they'll be going on this weekend. I'm going to be creating these bank characters and organizing them. And essentially the way I'm going to do it is I am bringing stuff to multiple game worlds from each destination or each origin world. So in my case, I want to have basically a Kenneth Crafting bank character, and I want to have a starter gear / named item bank character, and then the rest of it, like the stuff that's just going to go to Sentient XP, and then all the other kind of potions, and if I have any autos boxes or XP stones or scrolls or Afridi shrines or just all the other stuff, is generally going to one destination world. So I have a spreadsheet, which I'm not going to show you here because it's got too many names on it that I don't want you to know. But I've got a spreadsheet where I'm basically saying, okay, this person is going to, Argonesson is going to Shadowdale, and well, I've at this point largely organized it to one world. So in this case, Argo is largely going to Cormyr, except for my main account, which is going to Shadowdale, like my main character there. And I'm really going through the list. So what I've done is basically the first. So for me, step one is shove it into the bank, deal with it later. Oh, and also while I was at it, I emptied out all my green and red bags into crafting storage. So all of my characters on every game world has everything that'll go into crafting storage is now in crafting storage. So their personal inventory is in a clean, active state. You know, I didn't get rid of anything they're actually equipped or anything, but they don't have junk laying around in their banks or inventories or anything. All that stuff is sent into the bank, and then from there, I'm funneling it to wherever it needs to go. So for this case, Kena stuff's going to Cormyr on the one character. Then I don't know. Actually, I'm probably what I will end up doing is crunching down the sentient stuff on my origin world, and then I will just pack on my main character most of the stuff that's going to it. But if I've got stuff going to other worlds, like I will here a little bit, because I'm going to seed Cormyr a bit, that's going to be on a separate bank character. That I'm ready to create right now, because I've gone through what was 14 pages and is now 11 pages of shared bank on this character, and we're just gonna quick create another character here. So let me put up a bit of a shield here, and this is going to allow me to swap characters without too much me telling you the names of characters I don't want to tell you. Okay. So, Mock Argo Corm is going to be getting a bunch of gear that I want to send to just kind of seed Cormyr a little bit for a higher level. Well, whatever I got. I don't have a ton of great gear on Argo here, but what I do have that I'm not using on other characters is going to go to Cormyr.
You find yourself waking on a shore of flotsam. Memories of a large white dragon striking your ship come flooding back. Stepping out of the grotto, you find yourself in Korthos village.
Quick tip as I've kind of developed this process, you do have this inventory stuff, so when you got a quick bank character, just put them right on a mount and save yourself a little bit of time.
Hold out for help to arrive.
No, there is no prize for being first. Don't throw away my Crown of the Art Blade. No, I'm not planning to throw away any gear I'm actually going to use. Generally, though, there's a reality, especially when we get to like a server like Sarlona, which has all my old 2006 era garbage random gen loot on bank characters from Aerenal, for example. That I just have to get rid of a whole bunch of stuff, and I didn't use it. Turns out I didn't use it. I have not used it in over a decade, so I'm probably not going to, am I? And if I did need it, I wouldn't even remember I had it, would I? So that's sort of how that works. So just really the thing to know about this process is all this is going to need to be done before you do any character transfer pack on Argo. Like if you're on Argo here like I am, as soon as I transfer pack, all this account stuff's going into whatever character packed. And I don't necessarily want that because I want to send some stuff to Shadowdale and some stuff to Cormyr. So make sure you do all this bank character stuff before you actually run the thing. So, no, that's not going to go. I am giving myself some Thieves' Tools. I'm keeping one stack for each. Garments of Equilibrium. I don't really... that could probably go. I've given myself a little bit of level 1 gear that I never got. Ooh, Mad Loot. I don't have a Bard on Cormyr, so I guess I don't need that. Let me just give myself this. Oh, Ghostbane Longbow. Good for alts and such. Tinker's Gloves. In case I ever get Trapsmith there. I have more than one set, as you can see. Since that is an active leveling server, I will send some things there. Get myself some Sybaris cakes. I've got a ton of just like ring invisibility clickies, because back in the day in 2006, those were of moderate value. So I end up having a whole bunch of this stuff just kind of hanging around in my inventory. I do like this Night Hag Hearthstone. I'm gonna put that. This. Terraz's Sight. Do I need Terraz's Sight? Now, my character right now is a barbarian, so no, I don't need that right now. I also have multiple bubble belts, so let's make sure I got one on Cormyr. I actually have, so you know what I think? Now that I've done this shoving stuff into Bankless, I don't actually know if this is true yet. I think the bubble belt is the item I have the most of in my inventory. Like in terms of a named item. I think I have more bubble belts in my inventory than any other singular item in the game, unless maybe Visor the Flesh Render Guards. I would be the number of those that I found on characters doing the work this week. But yeah. Oh, I'll make sure I got a Muckbane there. Potions for my character. Like I say, this is still a dumping ground to some extent, because it's not full, so I don't have to worry so much about it. But oh, actually, you know what? I'm gonna put that in there too. Thinking ahead there a little bit. So the rest of this stuff, like most of the stuff isn't really high value. It's just going to go for starter gear, or it's going to get crunched down to Kenneth Crafting, or it's just going to get crunched into Sentient XP later this week. But a lot of this is actually coming with me, right? A lot of this is not staying behind. I have in character. I think I'm going to bring this rogue stuff with. I've got a roguish character that's coming to Shadowdale, so I'll probably just keep that with me. All right. I guess that's that. You have never heard of the Bubble Belt? Oh, this is an old one here. I mean, where do I mean, I've clearly got it in my inventory here. Let me show you why I like it. I mean, it's easy to get for one. That's part of why I've got so many of them. It's only level 7 for 2, and it'll solve your water breathing problems for good. It's underwater action with a water breathing clicky, meaning you can also hit your friends, and it gives you a plus 10 swim. So it's my permanent swap swim item for every character that I can get, because it's the best. So, well, so I'm not actually sending that much stuff here then to Cormyr. I guess that's just going to have to do it. I could probably figure out a little more. Let me see if I got any more XP stones. No. I have an old Stone of XP level 16 from the original box in there. But I guess that's that for this. So this is as much a test as anything else. So what I'm going to do on Argo then is just go and do that work on crunching down sentient stuff that I don't want anymore. And everything else is just going to get packed on one of my characters that's going to the main world. So, time to go to the next world and do the same thing. I am trying to... Let me get back in chat. It looks like I missed a bunch. Will the new servers come up at 2 p.m. or just the transfer pack command? The new servers will come up at 2 p.m. Eastern. At least that's the plan. Sarlona has the best DDO players, huh? Oh, if we're going to start arguing, you keep in mind I play on Sarlona. So if you want to say Sarlona's the best, my contribution is going to impact that statement. Presumably not positively. Number of hardcore survivors you're consolidating, that is actually a lot of the deletions that I did. Is they were just old hardcore transfers, and turns out I didn't really play them, but they still had some plat and gear and maybe a few odds and ends that I wanted to hang on to and what have you, but otherwise most of them ended up just getting deleted when it came down to it. To be clear also, I just talked now about Shadowdale, I'm bringing characters to all the worlds. So I'm consolidating, just like I have characters on every game world right now, I'm going to have characters on every game world afterwards. My hope is that I can take advantage of the fact that, to the extent possible, that I've been spread out to help put myself in a better place for these new game worlds. That's my hope anyway, and I guess we'll see how truthful that ends up being, but I will be playing on stream, just like now. I'll be playing on all 4 worlds, including Moonsea. I assume, depending on how the ping is to Moonsea. So I can't promise, but probably. Alright. Time for me to look up at my secret spreadsheet. Where am I going? Oh, I have not determined where I'm going. You know what? I will also send things from Cannith to Cormyr as well, as long as we're working on it. So, let me just show you kind of what... I'm in Kiragen. If the fastest way to do this is to... Here, let me back up and just see if I can show you. So, you're on Kiragen here. You can time me right now to see how long this takes. But this is... I usually just pick a path, that way you don't have to worry about it. This will be Mach... and it's going to be Cannith crafting from Cannith to Cormyr. Oh, gonna have to. Oh. Fortunately, we do. Oh, I've given my K. That'll give me one more. Oh, actually, so C, Mach, Can, Cormyr. All right. And now I'm making a character that's going to be hauling secondary gear to a different game world. Oh, oh no! Did I hit the wrong thing? Okay, and a dragon appeared. I started. Oh, nope. Shoot. let me solve this problem. Oops. I picked the wrong thing. All right. King Cosmo, I already talked about the favor issue several times in the show today. It's also outlined in the article that's on DDO.com and on the forums. So I guess I would suggest,
You find
rather
yourself
than trying to
waking on a
repeat
shore
that
of
again,
flotsam.
just go ahead and read
Memories of a
what's already
large
there.
white dragon striking your ship come flooding back. Stepping out of the grotto, you find yourself in Korthos village. The Sahuagin
Organizing your
have threatened
bank
this
and
place for
preparations for
generations.
transfers has been
Judging from
relaxing.
how it looks
I
now, the
have also found it
Sahuagin
somewhat
are winning.
relaxing and somewhat
However,
Marie
some
Kondo.
hopeful souls still
You know,
hold
because
out
I
for
never
help
really had a
beyond.
reason to clean my room, my DDO room. I've been fine on space and everything, and I am privileged to be able to work for the company and thus have a lot more storage and that I don't have to pay for. Well, same storage as everyone else, but I don't have to pay for it. So, I've been able to take advantage of that. But it has been nice to finally go through all my worlds and get a little bit of a better sense of, okay, what do I actually have? What do I actually need? What do I actually want? Where are they going? And I too have found it zen. They're going to be at least 20% more organized than they were before. Oh, I would also remind you, I'm reminding myself as well, don't forget about your daily dice on the way out if you're doing this. So, I don't bother to clear out my first tab stuff. I just have better things to worry about. This is my Caneth one, so everything that's Caneth is going. Anything being crafted down is what's going here. Okay. That's true, tough RPG, and as a matter of fact, you just get 2 little water-breathing items in your inventory at level 1. So you don't need the bubble belt. You shouldn't take it. But I like it. Yeah, I don't think so I have played some on Lotro's European Game World, which would be located in the same position, and I will occasionally notice a little bit more ping and things like that, but it's not really been a problem. And for the most part, I'm not expecting it to be a problem playing on Moonsea, but I guess we'll find out, won't we? So. In this case, I actually have a bunch of stuff I'm doing here, because I never really did a lot on Caneth. It was one of the, I guess you could say, weaker servers of mine. I just didn't get as nearly as developed characters on Caneth as the other game worlds. Nothing against Caneth, it just, you can't really do it on every single one all the time, right? So, as you can see, my bank is a lot shorter. There's nothing I really need. Well, that's fine, because all this stuff is just going to pile up as well, and it'd be useful, so. I do have Corruption in Nature, spell agility 10%. I do like my Bastard Swords, I'll probably keep that. Syax, anyone who gets renamed will have a free rename token applied to their account, and then you'll be able to do /change name space new name to be able to change your name. That's also going to work for guilds. If your guild ends up being renamed, you'll be using /guild space rename space new name. Moonsea? That's not... It's Moonsea as far as I'm aware. Perhaps there's some regional Forgotten Realms alliteration or kind of way of saying it that I'm not aware of. But to me, it looks like Moonsea. I'll keep that as a level 10 item. That'll be fine. Oh, my bank is full. Oh, my bank is full. Well, that's fine. I will... Well, it's 5 o'clock, so I'll take care of that off camera by purchasing more bank space. And then I'm going to put that in there. But that's what I'm going to do. You don't have to do that. You can create a new bank character and just do part 2 if you want to. The other thing I could do is I could open up a bunch of space. Because I work for the company, I tend to get a lot of things in my inventory right away, like about a full tab and a half's worth of junk. So that can all go and provide myself with some more space as well. Is there going to be something released with all the CODs and things to rename so we know exactly how to spell them? Yes, that is available right now. That document already exists, and it's available on DDO.com. It's in our main transfer document. Well, unclaimed Saga rewards transfer. Yes. My understanding is they do currently, and they will under the new system. If you have a character that already has a -1, will it too get a free name change? If it gets renamed, I mean, probably, if you already are named -1, you probably already have one, so you could rename it now if you want. But any conflict, so if you go from nothing to -1 or -1 to -2 or -7 to -22, whatever it is, every time you're getting it, you get a rename, you will get that token applied as well. What about -1 to nothing? That should not be possible. Oh, well, if you have a -1 already, and you transfer to a game world where the name is not taken, and you already have your rename token from the last time that you just never used, and if that rename token comes through with transfer, then you can just change it to the base name and be done. The other thing you can do is force that by creating the base name character, transferring over the -1, get the rename token again, and do that. So that's probably what I would do. If let's say you want to be Drizzt on Moonsea, you can create, and you already have a Drizzt -1 on Argo, then I would create Drizzt on Moonsea, and then transfer Drizzt -1 from Argo to Moonsea, give -1 the name change, delete Drizzt on Moonsea, and then rename -1 to Drizzt. That's how I would do it. I think that's the way to go. That's going to wrap it up here with Fridays at 4 on twitch.tv/DDO stream. If you're watching on YouTube, very much appreciate you joining us. Give us a thumbs up to help spread the word about the channel. Next Friday is going to be a whole new world. It'll be nothing like it is right now. Everything will be different. Day is night. We'll all be on 64-bit servers. And everything is going to be awesome. So I will see you next Friday for wherever we find ourselves here in Dungeons & Dragons Online. Hope you have a great weekend. Good luck if you're getting ready. Otherwise, enjoy that Treasure Hunters boost. And I will see you next week. Bye-bye.